Let's explore the file system module in Node.js. In this module, we will be covering how to read files, specifically looking at both synchronous and asynchronous file operations. So, let's dive in and see how we can work with files in Node.js. Before we can start working with the file system module, we first need to import it into our project. There are two common ways to do this. The first one is the CommonJS import, where we declare a constant named fs and assign it the value returned by require fs. Alternatively, we can use the ES6 import syntax, which is import fs from fs. Choose whichever method you prefer based on your project setup. Let's discuss synchronous file reading. When we use the fs.readFileSync method, it means our code will block execution. This means the program will literally wait until the file is completely read before moving on to the next line of code. It's a blocking operation, and your code waits for its completion. Here's an example of using fs.readFileSync. First, we require the fs module. Then we use a try-catch block to handle any potential errors. Inside the try block, we declare a constant named data and assign it the value returned by fs.readFileSync. We pass in the file name, in this case, file.txt, and the encoding UTF-8. Finally, we log the data to the console. If any error occurs during file reading, we catch it and log the error message to the console. Now let's explore asynchronous file reading. With fs.readFile and a callback function, we achieve a non-blocking operation. This means our code can continue executing without waiting for the file to be read completely. This approach is more efficient for applications that need to remain responsive. Here's an example of using fs.readFile with a callback. First, we require the fs module. Then we call fs.readFile with the file name, encoding, and a callback function. The callback function takes two arguments: error, which represents any error that occurred, and data, which contains the file content. Inside the callback, we check if there's an error. If so, we log the error message in return. Otherwise, we log the data to the console. Let's move on to promise-based reading. By using fs.promises.readFile, we can take advantage of the modern async/await approach. This allows for cleaner and more readable asynchronous code. Here's how we can use fs.promises. First, we require the fs module and access its promises property. Then we define an async function called readFileAsync. Inside the function, we use a try-catch block to handle any potential errors. Within the try block, we use the await keyword to wait for fs.promises.readFile to complete. We pass in the file name and encoding. Finally, we log the data to the console. If any error occurs, we catch it and log the error message. It's essential to handle errors properly when working with file operations. Two common errors you might encounter are eches, which indicates a permission-denied error, and inuent, which means the file was not found. Make sure to implement error handling in your code to gracefully handle these situations. Finally, let's talk about best practices. Use synchronous file reading for simple scripts or when reading startup configurations. However, for web servers and applications that require better performance, asynchronous file reading is the preferred choice. If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit CodeLucky.com for more such useful content.